welcome back. Today I'm talking about my current favorite makeup and skincare items. I went ahead and applied all this on camera so that I can show you how it all goes together. If you're new here, then hi, I'm Audrey. I make videos about makeup and skincare with a focus on dealing with rosacea and very dry skin. And I also like to talk about how we use makeup to reflect the self that we want to present to the world. If that sounds interesting to you, then I hope you'll subscribe. I'll start off by talking about the skincare products that have been really the core morning skincare items that I'm using before I put on makeup. All three of these products have been really useful in giving me a smooth surface of my skin to work with, and especially given how variable my skin actually can be from day to day, it's been great to have some things that can give me more consistency. So this first item has already had a viral moment or two. It's the Rhode Glazing Milk. And what I like about this is that I find, let me tell you what it actually is. So this is basically a hydrating toner, or milky essence is the other thing that you'll see this called. There's several different products that kind of fit that category. It has a lightweight, creamy texture that's a little bit like a liquid lotion almost. And what I find when I put it on my skin is that it really, it just absorbs. And what I'm left with, I've seen people say, oh, it's so hydrating. It doesn't necessarily feel hydrated to me. I mean, maybe I just don't know what that is anymore. But what it feels like is just smooth. Like whatever way that my skin is very porous because it's dry, it feels like this fills it in and really leaves behind that much smoother surface where things can layer on top instead of all just kind of getting sucked into that dry sponge. And so I've had this for a little bit. I think this might have been the first of the newer things that I had put into my skincare routine. I think if you have dry skin and you're finding that it's really hard to find enough hydration from your other products, that this is worth looking at. I forget, it's $32, $36, I think, and you get a fair amount of product, like, this still feels well over half full, despite that I'm using it twice a day. Another product that's done a lot to give me that smooth surface for application is this Rhode Multi-Peptide Eye Cream. And so I'm also using this morning and night. I just take a little dab and run it along the edge of the orbital bone here on each side. And it's done a lot for the way that makeup will tend to catch in that area, and the way that there's a lot of like texture and dryness. Since I've been using this, I find that I need less product under here in terms of concealer or the color corrector or whatever. This gives me a much better starting point to be putting those other things on top of it. I'm really happy with this, and I never tend to think that eye creams are necessary, but in this case I'm really glad that I picked it up and gave it a try, and there's a good chance that I'll buy it again when I run out, but we'll see. And then this turns out to be the moisturizer that I had been hoping to find. It's the Tower 28 SOS Daily Barrier Recovery Cream. And now that I'm holding in front of the light, I can see I've already used over half of this up. What I like about this, I'm actually going to put some on my hand so that you can see the texture. It manages to be not too heavy, but still occlusive. And so again, for me, it just has that like real smoothing kind of quality, where it will sit on my skin and dry down without getting like gummy or, being too tacky or whatever for products to actually go onto it. When it's blended in and has a chance to dry down, I just get this really nice smooth coat that again, when I start putting other things on top, they just sit so much better on my skin. And it's a little bit light for what I want in the middle of winter for like a night cream. But now that we're into, that late spring weather and it's not nearly as dry out, I'm using this morning and night and super, super happy with it. If they came out with a body cream that was basically the same thing, then I would probably buy that too. I already know that when I run out of this, I'm going to be buying more because this is exactly, I've tried a number of different, like, you know, daily moisturizer, day cream type things. And this is what I was looking for. It's not going to be for everybody. I'm sure, you know, if you have oily skin, I can imagine this is going to feel heavy. Even, you know, depending on your dry skin, you may have different kinds of needs. But if you've been thinking about trying something different in terms of that, you know, sort of like final moisturizing layer for your skin, this is really worth checking out. And I honestly haven't tried that much from Tower 28, but if everything is like this, then I will be excited to check it out. Also, it does have the approval from the National Eczema Association, and I don't really know what's involved in getting that, but it does mean that Tower 28 was interested enough in making sure that this product could be appropriate for eczema that they decided to go that route. So that might be useful to know too if you find that you have a lot of eczema issues, or, I mean, eczema is a skin barrier disorder, but there are lots of other things that can trigger that. So I think that calling this a barrier recovery cream does feel pretty accurate. And then to round out the skincare, we have my current favorite SPF under makeup. It's the e.l.f. Suntouchable Whoa Glow. I have it in Sunbeam, which is their lightest shade. And, you know, if you've been watching my channel, you know I talk about this all the time. I like it. It's just a great texture, surface, you know, not coverage product necessarily, but it does give me a nice, even glow that can run a little too metallic. So I don't tend to wear it on its own, but I absolutely do under makeup. That's what I'm wearing today. Then for today's makeup, I started out with the Fenty Soft Lit Luminous foundation. This product really continues to impress me. It just has such a light feel, you know, just an absolutely light feel. I used one pump to cover my entire face and it went on so fast. Enough that I was kind of checking to make sure that I hadn't missed someplace because it went so quickly and so smoothly. I find that on me, it does definitely live up to those sort of long-wearing claims that I think that they've made about it. And it does have a little bit of luminosity on its own, but, you know, paired with a very glowy SPF, you can see I am, you know, veering into radiant here. I could amp it up even more if I wanted, but for me, this just feels, this is the kind of luminosity that I'm after to put those two together. And for something that feels light, it really has a surprising amount of coverage. You know, I didn't feel like I needed to add any concealer today. There's a little bit you can see around my chin and some of these other areas. There's things coming through, but it just evens things out and covers so smoothly that for me, that is perfectly good. You know, I don't feel like I need to go any further. You can build this up though. I have played around with it in that respect. And I just think, you know, if you want something that's like solid, long wearing, is gonna feel kind of bulletproof, and you've got dry skin, this is really definitely worth looking at. I have it in the shade 120. Then instead of an under eye concealer, I did the e.l.f. Putty Color Correcting Eye Brightener. This little jar of pink stuff. I'll show you. It has sort of that gum color, or actually I think it's more of a pink eraser kind of shade. And for me, this really does all that I need in terms of just covering up that little bit of darkness that I have on the inner corner where my skin is most translucent. And again, a very smooth, creamy kind of product, easy to work with, and I make use of it pretty much every time. For brows, my current favorite brow product is the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. I have it in blonde. I do just a little bit of light, not even filling in, but, you know, light underlining here at the bottom of my brows, and I brush it, you know, up and call it good. And that does just that little bit of extra that I like to give my brows a little bit more definition. And I'm just happy to have found it in a light enough shade for me, because often with brow products, they top out at a medium brown or something, or bottom out at a medium brown. And so this kind of blonde, like sort of neutral to even maybe slightly cool leaning light brown kind of color has been just perfect for me. Then we have the cheek products. For bronzer, I put on the Glossier Cloud Paint in Swept. And what I like about this is that it's not completely sheer or completely opaque. I feel like you have a lot of control over just how much color you want to put on it with it. This is a nice neutral brown on me. I don't tend to worry too much about over applying it, even though this is a deeper shade than I might just generally pick, because it does have enough of that translucence and that liquid gel kind of quality. So it's really easy to blend it out. And yeah, I find that if I'm looking for something that's just going to, you know, add the kind of, not full on contour, but the shaping that comes from using a bronzer without really competing with anything else, then I really have been liking this. My other cheek product today is this e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush in Coral something. I always forget, but I'll put it in the description. This is a highly pigmented product. You'll see in the clip, I only put on one dot and put it on my brush, you know, and that was enough for both sides of my face. I really didn't have to go any further. I just think that if you're looking for a liquid blush that's both affordable and very versatile, I think this is really worth looking at. They do have a couple of sort of lighter, more toned down shades, which I haven't tried. I have this and a more cooling pink. But, you know, given the amount of pigment, I know that this is going to work with somebody who has darker skin than me. And I'm just appreciating finding something that it might take a little bit of effort to learn how to work with it well, given my combination of being very pale and having very dry skin, because liquid products like this can dry down very fast. But I like that it really does have a lot of potential in that respect. And also once it's on, I don't worry about it going anywhere, you know, because it does dry down really well. The color's long lasting. I never find that it fades on me. And if I want to just be as, you know, pink and lush, is lush the right word? You know, if I just want to have that like vibrance, then this is what I go for. And then I rounded out my makeup look with this Sephora Collection Sheer Shine lipstick. I have it in coral. I'm just not doing very good on everything that I buy is coral, and my brain is like, it's coral catastrophe. I don't think that that's the case. Anyhow, I will list it again, you know. But what I like about this is that it does have that really sheer, balmy formula, but also a lot of pigment. I have noticed that the color fades a little bit faster than I would like, even if I'm not necessarily like eating and drinking. I think just from sort of rubbing off as I'm talking and things like that, sometimes the color doesn't stay as well as I want, but I like the formula so much that I don't care. I'll just keep reapplying this. You know, I've tried some other things that are kind of in this category where they're just a little bit too thick or gloopy, or don't have enough pigment, you know, and for me, this is just like the perfect balance of all of those things, you know, in this, as I think we've established, my current favorite makeup color is definitely the coral. And that's really it. You know, I've just been keeping it simple and finding those things that really deliver in terms of just being able to put on a face of makeup that looks polished and lovely and ready for summer and all of those kinds of things. I don't necessarily wear the coral blush and the coral lipstick together, but you know, it's fun to do that for today to show how those can complement each other as well. And this was really, really fast to put on. Like I didn't time it all. When I look at my footage, I'll be able to tell, but I don't think I spent more than 10 minutes putting my makeup on, you know, it just all goes really fast with these kinds of easy products to work with that really just deliver a lot of oomph for what they've got. That'll do it for my May favorites, but I don't want to forget to tell you the fails. Hold on. For fails, I have just 4 items, and I don't really think that these are bad products for the most part, with kind of one exception. But they just aren't really the thing that I want in terms of often the texture or, you know, texture color formula kind of things. So no hard feelings if these are actually things you like, they just don't work for me. The first one, I don't think that I've ever actually used this on camera. It's also a sort of coral pink Sephora collection item. This is their moisturizing lip balm. I'm looking to see if there's anything more. And I have it in watermelon. It has the watermelons. So it tastes like watermelon candy. I have no complaints about that. I will buy more things that taste like watermelon candy if given the opportunity. But it has that really like ultra thin, slippy texture for a lip balm. And so there's no substance to it really. It just feels like I've kind of, not like an oil even, but just like this really thin coat on my lips. It advertises itself as being very long wearing, which I kind of would believe, you know, like there's something about it where it doesn't feel like there's enough to come off, if that makes sense. But I just really didn't like the texture, like super duper didn't like the texture enough that it's been hard to convince myself to just give it another try because it has, yeah, something about that like really thin, slippy kind of thing just doesn't work for me. And then next I have the NYX Buttermelt Bronzer. This is fairly new, but after a few tries, I feel pretty firm in my opinion about this, which is that it gets everywhere. And I can't, you know, like I open it up and we're going to get powder everywhere. I put my brush in it and we're going to get, you know, bronzer powder everywhere. It also, I mean, it has that really sweet, people keep saying coconut and I don't know. I can smell this on my face, you know, and that's not something that I want in a bronzer. I don't want to put bronzer on my face and then be able to smell it. I also think that there must be some inconsistencies going on between either the colors or in the manufacturing. I don't know, because I watched other reviews after I got this and, you know, had filmed my own try on. And some people mentioned that they had, you know, some of the kinds of issues like with, you know, the kickback and all of that. And some people didn't. Some people said that it was really creamy and I find it crumbly. You know, I saw some pictures where people had gotten it and it already shattered. And some people say it's like really luminous and I don't see a lot of sparkle here. It just made me think that this maybe wasn't the most like quality checked kind of thing. And you know, I don't think I've ever bought another like powder product from NYX, so I don't know. It just didn't live up to what I wanted in this respect, you know. I think that the idea of having a very rosy toned blush line at a drugstore price and all of those things, and if for me it was the product that I have seen other people describe it as, then I might be into that. But given that whole combination of things, this really isn't one for me, and I'm gonna give it away as soon as I get a chance. My next fail will not be a surprise if you've seen some of my other videos. This is the Kosas Bb Burst. It is supposed to be a tinted moisturizer kind of product. For me, it was just a weird metallic, unflattering mess. Streaky, you know, just didn't sit well on the skin, did not do anything even like in the ballpark of flattering. This is another one where afterward I thought about, you know, I saw some positive reviews and I saw some negative reviews and I was trying to think like what could be happening that would, you know, help explain like why it was, in my opinion, pretty spectacularly bad. Like, to me, this feels like a failed product, you know, but obviously not everybody feels that way. There are people who are happily using it. I think that at least with this shade that I have it in 10 very light neutral. I don't think that they adjusted the amount of like mica or pearl, you know, to give it that like sparkliness. I don't think that they adjusted it relative to the pigment and the pigment load. And so I think that I got something that was more like a highlighter out of this, and possibly with the other tints, it was a little bit more balanced, which also makes me feel like it shouldn't have gone out the door. But, you know, I'm always saying that there aren't that many bad products on the market, and this is probably a good product for somebody, but it is just an absolute no. Like, I think after I had tried it and did the review, I might have put it on one more time after that, but yeah, this is also going out the door as soon as I can talk somebody into taking it off my hands. And then my last fail, this one might be kind of a surprise, in part because I only reviewed it recently, and the package is kind of messed up because I had trouble opening it. The Covergirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. So in my review, I said, you know, that I thought I would try it again and I would experiment with it, and after that, I didn't. You know, I haven't actually wanted to put this on again. And I thought about it. This just doesn't fit anywhere in my routine. You know, it is such a light coverage kind of product and just a particular kind of like serum consistency sort of thing that it doesn't have enough coverage for me to want to wear it on its own. It doesn't have a texture that I want to layer with things. And so I realized that I'm just not going to use it because it just doesn't fit anywhere for me. You know, it doesn't fill a spot that I need. It doesn't, you know, I can't alternate between this and something else. And I think especially with those sort of skincare aspects, then to get that, it would need to go under my SPF, right? Because the SPF works by creating a film, you know, a layer with all of that UV filter on your face. And so, which, you know, it's not static. It will kind of break down over the course of the day, the film part of it. But if you layer something on top of it that you're hoping to get that skincare benefit from, it just, I don't know, to me that doesn't feel like a very effective thing. And overall, I think this is a really interesting product. I am not recommending against it. I just realized that for me, I don't need it. This just doesn't end up being something that I need in my collection. And I'm glad that I tried it so that I could find that out. And so hopefully that, you know, some of you who've been thinking about it, you'll know if it is for you. Because I think that for some folks, this could be pretty great. This is one that I would be happy to give to a friend as opposed to sort of guiltily like, here, you know. It entertains me quite a bit that I tried both of these, you know. They're in basically the same packaging. They're not quite the same size and shape, you know, because this has got a bigger cap and all of that. But these, in terms of the like packaging and, you know, it seems like these should be products that kind of are in the same category somehow in terms of like skin tints and, you know, tinted moisturizers. And they are so different, like so extraordinarily different. And, you know, it's interesting to look at that. But there we go. You know, a full slate of favorites, you know, my skincare, my makeup, everything that I've got on my face today. And then a couple of fails that, you know, are just about being honest about what doesn't work for me and being aware that not everything is going to be a win, and that's okay too. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope that this was useful to you. If you have your own favorites or fails this month, I'd love to hear about them and know what sorts of things you've been trying and what is or isn't working for you. So leave a comment if you like. If you haven't subscribed yet, then I hope you will. I would love to see you back here. Take care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye.